Hi, and welcome once again to another Adult SEO training video. The topic for today is a big one, and it's why we're all here. We're going to talk about how to rank any adult site. Now, before I'd start, I'd like to give you an idea of how I decided to organize this training video series. Because it's such a big topic and there's so much to go over, I divided everything into 5 separate training videos, not including this one. This training video preview here is where I provide an overview of the entire process, start to finish. Okay, so the first topic we're going to go through in detail is keyword research, followed by competition research, on-page optimization, link building, and finally progress monitoring. Now, I ordered the training video series in this way because I feel it's the most natural progression of a full SEO campaign. Because you can't start building links until you know what keywords you're going to go after, and you can't really decide on what keywords to go after until you know which ones that you can actually compete for. So by organizing the training in this way, I hope to give you an ideal progression of tasks as well as step-by-step instructions on how to best accomplish each one. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the overview. The first thing we're going to discuss is keyword research. It's a fundamental step in any adult SEO campaign, and it involves a lot more than just typing a few terms into Google's keyword tool. You need to approach your keyword research from a number of different angles so that you're sure to consider everything that will affect your rankings as well as your earning potential. So let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's say that you have a site that's all about big boobs, okay? Now, just because it's all about big boobs doesn't necessarily mean that you should target big boobs as your primary keyword phrase. What if big boobs is so competitive that you aren't really able to earn a top 10 rank for it? If that's the case, that would be time invested but no money made. Now, just by taking the time to do some comprehensive keyword research, you might learn that maybe huge boobs is a better primary keyword to target. And huge boobs just so happens to have nearly as much traffic, but with a fraction of the competition of big boobs. Or maybe you'll find that the competition for huge boobs is even too strong, which at 19 million competing sites, it very well might be. So in that case, you might discover through proper keyword research that something like big boob videos is the best for you to target. Now, this particular keyword phrase happens to get about 300,000 searches every month, and it currently only has about 100,000 other sites that are directly competing for it. So this might put the odds more in your favor. Another important part of keyword research is finding all of the alternative keywords that you're going to target in addition to your primary keyword. Because the last thing that you want to do is dedicate all of your time and resources into targeting just one keyword. Sure, the keyword might offer the traffic that you need, and it might have a level of competition that you can handle, but what happens if it takes you 5 months or more to rank in the top 10 for it? That's 5 months with no money for your efforts. You want to dig up as many alternative long-tail keywords as you can and use them to start seeing some traffic now. Get some sales coming in while you wait for that target phrase to kick in. Sure, you want to eventually earn that top 10 spot for big boobs, but in the meantime, you should be getting some early ranks and seeing some real traffic from other related keywords like that big boob videos that we talked about earlier, and even some other related keywords that you can get traffic from now, like natural boobs, huge tits, big boob pictures, natural tits, and so on. And I did the keyword research on every single one of these, and they all get traffic. And any big boob site can be optimized for every single one of them. But you can only create a viable list of high traffic, low competition keywords through proper keyword research. All right, next we're going to talk about guessing on your keywords. Now, first of all, you never want to do that. If you just guess on a bunch of keywords, you won't know for sure if they all have enough traffic to even make it worth your time. And if it's obvious that the traffic is there, you won't know if they have a level of competition that you can actually handle. I mean, not everybody can rank for something like free porn. And since most keywords you researched are destined to be alternative long tails anyways, what's the point if they just end up being just as hard to rank for as your primary keyword? Or say you totally luck out and you happen to guess a few good ones. How do you know for sure if the search expectations of each keyword are even relative to your site? And by search expectations, I mean what surfers expect to find when they go and search for something. And you can only determine this by looking at the current top-ranked sites for each of your prospective keywords. So let me give you an example of this one too. Let's say you have a solo girl site. Your target keywords might include ones related to teens, amateur, softcore, maybe glamour, and so on. So when expanding on this list of keywords, you might think a phrase like amateur porn is related, but only through some solid keyword research will you find that this phrase is not only super competitive, but that people searching for this expect to see hardcore. And since most of the sites in the top 10 are all tubes, it's safe to assume that most people searching for amateur porn are looking for free hardcore videos, which might not necessarily match your solo girl site very well. Meaning that even if you earned a top 10 spot for this, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to monetize the traffic. And it's all of this and more that we're going to be discussing in detail in the keyword research training video. And in addition to this, I'm also going to show you all of the tools that I personally use for doing very in-depth keyword research for myself and for my clients. Okay, the next training video in this series is going to cover competition research. Now, researching competition is closely related to researching keywords in that you're using the data that you find to decide which keyword phrases are the most valuable to you. And how valuable they are to you is dependent on the search traffic available for the keywords that you're actually capable of competing for. In other words, the hottest chick that you can get. Let's talk about this using the big boobs example from before. Maybe it's the most valuable overall since it has the most search traffic. But if you can't compete with the current top 10, then there's really no value in it for you. What will be valuable is a keyword phrase that you actually have the ability to rank for. There's a lot of phrases that have the search traffic that you can actually get. And sure, they'll probably get a lot less traffic than that golden keyword you have your eye on, but there's also a lot more of them. Target and rank for a dozen of these and you have yourself a business. And discovering what these specific keyword phrases are is what competition research is all about. It's through proper competition research that you'll be able to make a usable list of all of the keyword phrases that you actually have a chance of ranking for. And then you can sort that list by available search traffic to determine which are most valuable to you. So it's how to research and compile these viable keyword lists that we'll be talking about. We'll discuss how to see how many other sites you'll be competing with for any given keyword, how many of those sites are actually focused enough to target a keyword within their title tags and even within their URLs. And I'll show you how to determine the strength of the competition, since the number of sites alone is really a poor indicator of how difficult it will actually be to rank for a keyword. I'll show you some tools that will help you to visualize the strength of your competition, and I'll show you which metrics to consider when analyzing your chances for a top 10 rank. And it's at this point right here where most guys stop their competition research and move on to the next step in their campaign. But I like to go one step further in my research, and that's determining the quality and relevancy of all of the currently top-ranked sites. I'll go into this in detail, but basically it's analyzing all of the top-ranked sites to see how you'll be able to compete with them head-on. I mean, once you earn a top 10, that's when you start competing for clicks and sales with the other 9 top-ranked sites that are listed next to you. And if you can't do this well, then you might not be able to monetize the search traffic well enough to make the campaign be profitable for you. Because there's no use in working hard to earn a top 10 rank if you can't make any money from it. It's better to determine early, literally before you start, whether or not you can compete directly with the other top 9 sites. All right, next I'll be spending some time discussing the importance of on-page optimization and how it relates to current search algorithms. As I'm sure you all know, page optimization, it used to matter a lot more than it does today. As recently as a few years ago, you might have been able to rank well based on your page optimization alone. Now, though, that's no longer the case. But despite this, certain key aspects of your page optimization still do matter, and going about them wrong can still hurt your ranking potential. So some of them that we'll be discussing here are title tags, meta tags, HTML and formatting tags, keyword inclusion, link optimization, image optimization, sitemaps, and your robots.txt documents. And in addition to going over how to best perform all of these optimizations, we're going to talk about how they relate to Google's newest algorithm changes. We're going to talk about how to optimize your sites that comply with all the newest standards. Okay, the next video in this training series is a biggie, and that's how to best go about your link building. Link building is by far the most important thing you can do to get real search traffic through your sites. Link building is where all the heavy lifting is done, and it's what you should be spending the majority of your SEO time on. The quality, volume, and relevancy of your links will directly influence your rankings. And this is by design, really. The most popular sites tend to win. And I'm going to use an analogy that I use in another training video here because a lot of you found it very useful. And that is to consider every link a vote. Every website that gives you a link is basically voting for your page to rank well. They're telling all of their own surfers that they find your site credible. They're recommending you. And when Google goes out and crawls this link, it's basically considering this link as a vote. And if at the end of the day you have more votes than another site targeting the same keyword, you're likely to be ranked higher. Now, I say likely because, as everybody knows, not all votes are equal. Say, for example, you need a lawyer for some reason, but you don't know of any yourself. So because of this, you go out and you ask some people if they can recommend a lawyer for you. Now, what if 20 of those people with no personal experience with lawyers, what if they all recommend one guy who they saw an advertisement for? But then 3 others who are lawyers themselves, they recommend a different guy who they know to have experience with the very type of case that you need help with. You're likely to trust the opinions of the 3 lawyers because their recommendations are based on professional experience and therefore they're more valuable to you. Well, it's the same with SEO. Say you have a porn star site. Google does its thing and it finds that you have, say, 100,000 links, mostly from, let's say, link trades with other blogs, some cross links from other sites that you own, and maybe a few from some boards that you post on. But then it goes out and it crawls another porn star site and it finds that it only has maybe 10,000 links. Sure, some will naturally be from other blogs and some from internal links and internal sites as well. But then it sees that a chunk are from some highly reputable porn star sites, sites that it has already ranked in the top 10 for popular keywords, sites that have been around for years and they're linked to heavily from a lot of other porn star sites. Links from these sites are going to carry a lot more value because Google trusts their recommendations more. Their opinion on what makes a good porn star site, a site they're willing to link to, carries more weight than a link that you give yourself or a link that another known link trader gives you. And consequently, because this smaller site has more valuable votes, it will be considered a more trustworthy site for the keyword phrase, and it will likely be ranked above yours because of it. So in this video on link building, I'm going to show you how to find the highest value links, how to build your volume of links quickly. I'm going to show you how to manage your anchor text so that it helps you to rank while complying with Google's latest algorithms. And we're going to talk about how to scale your link building so that you can rank many sites at the same time. All right, and that brings us to the last video in this series of how to rank any adult site, which will cover how to efficiently monitor your SEO progress. There's a ton of tools and services out there that can help you monitor your rankings, and I've probably tried all of them looking for that perfect solution. And what I found best is to use a combination of tools. For example, I use one particular tool for monitoring the rankings of many sites that target a lot of different keywords. And I use a different tool for quickly checking the rank of any site at any given time. There's also tools that you can use to help keep an eye on your backlinks to see which ones are deleted or otherwise removed, and other tools that can help you monitor the changing value of your links. I'll show you what all these tools are. We'll explain why I use some and not others, and we'll show you exactly how to use the tools that I do so that you can spend your time implementing all of the strategies discussed in this training video series rather than poking around some software. You can set up all of your monitoring tools in one shot and be on your way. And that brings us to the end of this training series overview. As you can see, there's a lot to get through, so let's get started. I'll see you in the first video on keyword research.